there are mishaps, sometimes when we have change of weather, and of course some places flood and there are mudslides, and disruption in also that. Then there's also storages, lack of storage facilities. We're going to be looking into those matters one by one, but then we have to create a collective way of working hand in hand, both the private sector and the government, to make sure that this system goes on very well, starting from the gardener, the farmer, to the transporter, to the wholesaler, to the retail person, and eventually to the last consumer, so that things are easy. Because you see, actually, everything is okay until it comes to transport. Why am I talking about transport? Because this is where the fares of transport rise. Now that there was an additional tax, of 100 shillings on fuel, trust me, you know what is going to happen in the supply chain. What was going for 4,000 is going to increase to probably 4,500 or 5,000. So it is going to affect us one way or the other. So we have to look for means of collaborating and working together, and of course looking at adding value, looking at how we can increase efficiency if we work together. So that and more if you keep tuned to Smart Men's Business. And of course, we just left with a few minutes. But of course, before I go looking at the power of collaborative partnerships, we see industry associations, we have farmers, cooperatives, and as well the public-private sector partnerships. Yes, that is what we call for. When of course looking at industries, these bring together different stakeholders, discuss different challenges, and develop solutions at the industrial level. Because even as industries, even if you're into textile, even if you're into whatever industry you're into, at the end of the day, there is someone supplying you something. It could be from someone's garden to your, or maybe you could be having a farm as an industry, but then at the end of the day, you can't rely on that. You have to rely on a few sources here and there. So you have to come collectively and discuss as the industrial sector on how to do things, so that at least Muntu wawansi mwananchi, as by the time they get to consume that product, it's of good quality first of all. Yes, quality is good, and quantity. Yes, and of course I'm going to be looking at how Uganda is going to be supplying maize to Zambia. Yes, we got that as well. So we want to look at how much we are going to export. But of course, before we go any further, because we've been having disruptions in in trade, in terms of maize, as we were supplying to Kenya. Of course, they are good takers of ugali, and at some point they felt like our maize was substandard. It was not up to standard. There were aflatoxins, the storage they had, they were not really good. So how are we going to make sure that we, now that we're going to be supplying to Zambia, how are we going to make sure that at least we add value in what we are sending out as Uganda? So that is why we are going to have collective information to discuss on the potential opportunities that have been presented to us, and how ready are we as a country to start distributing. Yes, okay. Well, that and more, if keep tuned. Of course, we shall be continuing that discussion later on at 8 a.m. But right about now, I'm seeing there is a lot that is happening into the press away from your fully packed weekend, as you had family time, as you had time for yourself. A lot was happening actually in Uganda. Let's get into that. Well, today being a Monday, I'm having three papers, the East African, Monitor, and New Vision. And of course, looking here, making headlines. Oh, as alcohol kills 17,000 Ugandans annually. Did you know that? 17,000 Ugandans annually, alcohol. Your liver has to be intact, okay? As you take some sip, take water as well. Yeah, that is. And of course, looking at 10 arrested over forging ministers' signatures. Now, police foils 700 billion NSSF land fraud. Oh, Uganda never ceases to amaze. And of course, Museveni asks Acholi to fight for poverty, to fight poverty. Yes, and of course, Ubos warns districts to over fake census staff. Oh, I knew something would come up like this. So this is juicy information, and if you want 10 days to go, we are left with a few days to go, and we get our heads counted. Yeah, we get our heads counted, and of course, like I said, Uganda to supply maize to Zambia, and of course, Uganda has agreed to supply 500 million kilograms of maize to the South African country following the February declaration of the dry spell in Zambia as a national disaster. Now, of course, this will give farmers in Uganda a huge boost. I know it's going to be a huge boost. Are you ready as a farmer? Yeah, this could be an opportunity to shine if you've been looking for market. Trust me, you're going to get it. And of course, 10 farms that export 70% of Uganda's coffee named. Well, interesting. And of course, looking in Mali, ice now costs more than bread as heat wave scorches. Yeah, we actually shifted from that wave. At least our weather is a bit calm. It's a bit calm. It's really, it's fine. It's well. And of course, looking here, South Sudan editor queries use of IMF bailout cash. And of course, the audit reports cities' irregularities in award of tenders, taxation of government contractors, and accounting issues around the $114 million emergency fund. That and more when you get yourself. And of course, floods cause death and destruction. And of course, looking at experts warn of looming hunger as rains destroy farmland and transport routes across the region. Well, rain in Kenya disrupted everything. Yeah. And of course, Zambia turns to Uganda for maize. So there's a lot happening actually away from Uganda. Yes. Then of course, police looking into probing into the 700 billion SSF land fraud. 10 arrested. Uganda, as much as we keep on, advocating for, when you see something, speak out. And of course, Museveni commends retiring UPDF generals, looking at how security forces hunting for customs office official over alleged link to ADF. And of course, the president of the Republic of Uganda was in Acholi. He actually advocated, urged the Acholi leaders, or even the people, to eradicate poverty in their region. Yeah, is also paramount. And of course, I urged them to track the PDM, Parish Development Money. Yes, and of course, Museveni thanked as a 500 youth graduate. Yes, 500 youth graduate. Okay, they have graduated, but Bagenda Kolachi, that could be it. Well, today being a Monday, we're along the access road. Yes, so around there, the access road, as you can see. Today is a Monday. Most students are really broken off for holidays. Most schools have broken off for holidays. So the parents that have been waking up so early, I don't think today they were able to that's why probably there's less traffic, because I was also using the Wandegea road. It was quite, there were no vehicles. And of course, I know in Uganda, the reason as to why people are up early is to take their children to school. But for now, You see, it's clear. It's definitely clear. Of course, along the Kampala Road, you can Ginger Road, as you're going to Kampala, you can see as you're coming in from the city center and other parts in Kampala city, you can see that traffic has held them for some minutes, but I believe in a few minutes possible they're going to be released, as you can see. And I like the fact that at least Kampala border riders adhere to at least the standards. You know, they have the helmets on, they have the reflector jackets on, at least compared to other parts of Uganda. It is quite risky actually in Kampala. I witnessed a fatal accident on Friday evening. I was getting home. It was quite devastating. So as a passenger, I think if you use border, you should have a helmet. Just 100,000 Ugandan shillings, quality helmet. As of course, first that are coming in from the 8th Street, coming in from Okwano Road, coming in from Zambia, coming in Mengo, you see, coming as they're heading to Ginger Road. As you can see, traffic, Ginger Road, quite really packed. That one, people coming in from that end. And of course, there are also residential areas that side, Okwano Road. I usually pass there. Sometimes it's usually packed with diplomatic cars and, siren cars. As we may say, think about it. So those are high-end people that stay that side, ministers, talk about really important people, and of course other people as well, not to be segregative. Of course, looking along the Ginger Road, as you head to Ginger Road, you can see, is that a big truck? Yes. As you can see, most people reside that side. Reside along Chibreka, there's Nakawa, there's Ntinda, all that's in. So usually it's fully packed. It's fully packed along that road, along that very road. But of course, in the shortest time possible, the cars are going to be let loose. And of course, I believe traffic actually is also understanding. Why? Because they know. Usually in the Ginger Road, those that are coming in from Ginger, it's a lot of traffic. So they have to find means of balancing so that they avoid congestion in the far end of the town. So that is the clock tower, as you can see. Yes. So situation in a Monday morning, would say it's quite normal. It's a quite normal morning. It's just that probably there's less congestion. Students are not going to school. Probably some schools could be open because 10th, there's some students that are going because is it 3rd on Friday this week? Yes, they're going to be ending the term, picking their reports. Yes, exactly. And of course, as you can see, there's a big truck. Like I see, there's a big truck right there. Of course, then there's a way big trucks bring about congestion around there. Mostly if you're turning and other cars, I would be suggesting that they would actually have a road of their own, or highway or bypass, something like that, to avoid congestion as well. But that's the situation right there. If you're coming in from different destinations on that road, the traffic lights, those traffic lights, just know that it is quite movable. It's quite movable. You won't stay there for long, just a few minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, you see, like now. Okay, borders actually the ones that really bring chaos around there. If you're not careful enough, there's a bit of collision. NMT, people are resorting to riding bicycles. Yes, that is interesting. Though I would suggest that there would be lanes for cyclists, because it's quite risky. It can be competing with the border. It can run you over. It can really run you over, and it's not good. So cycling lanes, should be provided for those that use. Maybe for this matter, now that they are crossing the road and the traffic lights, yeah, like I'd said, not so, okay, our friends near us, those that are coming in from different destinations along that side, from Malacca, from Janaka, yeah, all that side. These ones tend to be halted for quite some time. I don't know why, for some reason, as they're going maybe to Mukwano, Mukwano, maybe or the other side of Kampala, Mengo, any that side. They'll tend to be halted for, actually, they are the most people that they hold the most. They'll keep there like for 10 minutes. They'll feel it, yeah, because there are fewer cars coming. There are usually fewer cars that come in from that side, actually, yeah. So that is the situation right there. Yes, as you can see, as some of the vehicles are maneuvering to join the Ginger Road right there. Yeah, yes. Yeah, quite interesting for Kampala. These people, are orderly. Yes, they're orderly at times. Well, that brings us to the end of traffic. So if you're coming in from different destinations, heading to this road, just know there is order. You can really make it and get on time. Yes, we're just left with 2 minutes to hit it to 7:30 a.m. I'm going to come back with what is happening in East Africa, and of course looking at the opportunity that Uganda has been given to start supplying maize in Zambia. That and more if you keep locked into Smart 24 TV. I'll be right back.
Smart 24, driving business. Cooking oil like no other makes your meal so sweet and scrumptious. The taste of Uganda, yeah, the taste of Uganda.
This is Jordan. When it comes to classwork, Jordan is magic. Jordan shines. Jordan makes his peers better. Jordan is a true leader. White Star Magic family. Be a leader. Be magic.
Hello, with everybody for you. I did just shake bello, but it's a one tell bello.
Wow, that's brilliant! That is magnificent! Game changer, points of world class.
Say hello to GOTV's newest package, GOTV Super Plus. The GOTV package you've been asking for. GOTV Super Plus has all the great channels you love on GOTV Super. Plus, big-time international and kids channels the whole family will love. Plus, plenty of live Premier League action on Super Sports' dedicated Premier League channel. It's the package you asked for, and we listened. GOTV Super Plus, available from 1st August. GOTV, love it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Smart Tech Show here on Smart 24 TV. And I'm your host, OSJ Clinton Liberty, who will be delving into the display of all these ground and breathtaking technologies. But at the same time, we want to look at what does it comprise of? What are these features of these special electronics that are surrounding me right now? We are at a renowned electronic showroom where we are going to delve into specifics of different technologies, but at the same time we're going to look at different electronics and we look at what has improved so far in 2020. It is very much well known that the Apple Vision Pro virtual reality headset has been launched to the market. The Apple Vision Pro virtual reality headset is now on sale at all US Apple Store locations and the online Apple stores. Now, its launch, ladies and gentlemen, come with morning after reported fiscal first quarter results that exceeded revenue and earnings estimates. Now, the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, stood by the Vision's Pro pricing, and he says that the pricing will start at $3,500, and then he continues to say that the price has been well leveled considering the value of the virtual reality headsets. Now, people can spread their payments widely and over time, but the essence of Apple is to ensure affordability at different levels. And then they continue to mention that the financing plan that buyers can choose is, however, determined as its chock full house of invention, which is already labeled at 5,000 patents on it. Now, CEO Tim Cook continues to think that the price has been well leveled considering the value of the virtual reality headset glasses. But considering the Apple's earnings, Cook said that Vision Pro is also being embraced as an enterprise product, and they're already citing companies that can already work with them, including Walmart, including Nike, Vanguard, Stryker, Bloomberg, and SAP, that have started already leveraging and investing in the headset as a platform for customers and even their workers to start using these gadgets to ensure that they have work efficiency. Now, Cook on Thursday continues to believe that Apple can remain both a consumer and enterprise-focused company going forward, with the Vision Pro now among its best offerings, considering the gadget's ton of use cases. And it continues to say that this very virtual pro reality headset has more than 600 applications and games that are available on the headset that are specifically designed to provide a spatial computing experience. Now, on this very day, Thursday, which was last week, the CEO continued to reveal a first quarter results that exceeded revenue and earnings estimates. Now, when it comes to Apple's wearable businesses, which are also known as other products, now these have beaten expectations that have seen 11% decline in sales. However, the Vision Pro has joined the Apple Watch, the Vision Pro has joined AirPods in the wearables category. Though, ladies and gentlemen, it is very much well known that the analysts don't predict that the headset will initially drive a significant amount of revenue. Ladies and gentlemen, what happens to the Apple Vision Pro while in the market? Do we see sustainability of it being in the market? Give me your comments. Let's hear what you have to say about this. Thank you so much for being a part of this month's Tech Bite. Take care.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome to our second half of 7. My name is Masika Tsime and I'm joined with Andrew Barigi. And of course, looking at what is happening in East Africa, and of course, looking at how Kenya is attracting migrants with high income opportunities, looking at the Opportunity Index 2024. Kenya's competitive position, and where it is starting. Now, Kenya is the third most preferred African country by immigrants seeking high income. That is according to reports here by foreign investors, the third most preferred African countries. And of course, on Friday, we're looking at Kenya also being among the top economies actually in Africa, replacing some country. Now, according to the Opportunity Index 2024 that Kenya has given Kenya a score of 25 out of 100 in terms of potential of immigrants to earn high income from well-paying jobs, especially in private and NGO sectors. Now, for this further includes opportunities for generating high income for a wide area of companies, investment in real estate, and capital gains. Kenya was, however, beaten to top spots by South Africa, Mauritius, and of course that scored 41 and 26 to emerge first and second respectively. Now, of course, earning potential is one of 6 key metrics used by international wealth advisory firm Career Prospects and Prosperity of Investors, and of course others. The others are career advancement, top-tier employment prospects, premium education, and of course looking at income mobility and high livability. So that is the case for Kenya. Now, all those metrics contribute to an overall score that indicates if a country has the right mix of ingredients that enable investors, especially those migrating from their countries in search of greener pastures, an ideal environment to grow and enjoy their wealth. Well, Kenya, which is the only East African Community member country to appear on the list, which has been appearing on most lists, apparently, scored lowly in career advancement and of individuals with a score of 2 out of 100. Well, quite very low. And of course, on aspects of top-tier employment, Kenya also ranked 8th with a score of 11 out of and 7th on premium education with a score of 14. And on economic mobility of individuals, Kenya ranked 5th with a score of 6, and while it joined 4th on being high livable with the score of 37. That is out of 100 though. That is out of 100. Now, of course, overall opportunity score, Kenya joined 6th, which means it lags behind countries such as South Africa, Mauritius, Egypt, Morocco, Ghana in facilitating investors. Wow, at least it comes 6th, trust me. A country to be livable, that means foreign investors find it more comfortable to live in Kenya.
Yeah,
compared to other East African countries.
Absolutely right. Yeah. When you take a look at all this, in Uganda we've been having a challenge. Every person that they call an investor who comes in, they invest their money in. But when you take a look at their income profile, it's not really up to the standards in terms of what is it going to add to the country. Or actually, they are surviving from the country, majority of them. But now, when I take a look at this, attracting immigrants with high income opportunities, that means the profile of this immigrant, because now this is not a Kenyan. So you're coming to my country, but what are you adding to? What contribution are you putting onto the GDP of this country. You know, because sometimes it's quite so unfair where we have figures of GDP that seem to be a little bit friendly and okay, but when you distribute these figures, they are not equally distributed. Because if you tell me that maybe it's quite the figures are high, and you find that those high figures are actually concentrated in a few people, and some of these few people inclusive of investors, different government officials. And when you get back to the household income, I mean to the grassroots level, the people that actually contribute to the figures, because they support the businesses of these people, they give them labor, they are also customers at the same time. They are suffering quite so heavily. So you find that in that process, the country is not developing. Actually, there is no growth, but it's just stagnant. It's stagnant. You know, it's actually very, very stagnant. Actually, no, it's not even stagnant. It's rising in the opposite direction. Somebody told me the worst place to be in is rising, but
in the opposite
direction. You would rather stagnate, you know, because
when you stagnate, there's a possibility of you know,
exactly
improving.
There's a possibility, but here it's like when Jesus said, if the light in you be darkness, then how deep is that darkness? So how deep is that backwardness? I mean, you're heading to ages. But well, it all comes back to the immigrants that come in. You know, some come as refugees, and we've seen many of them participating in. Actually, I've seen some microfinances in Uganda having packages for refugees. Like I consider them a bit like immigrants, you know, to perform. But the question is, what impact in terms of because you find that their livelihood, they are more like sucking from the country.
True.
You know, for their own benefit. So sucking the resources which would have been distributed amongst the Ugandans onto themselves alone. And once an economy that locals, the indigenous people, are not deprived of the economic rights, I mean, like it or not, never. Uganda, I mean, if Uganda does it, then it will be the first in history to make it. It will never happen. Trust me. That is so, I'm so great. I mean, when you take a look at Kenya's growth statistics and you take a look at, you know, being part of those countries that IMF predicts, I mean, the economies are going to be quite stable. It's quite, there are so many factors that actually come into interplay. And when I take a look at a report of attracting immigrants with high income opportunities, well, definitely this is what we talk about, you know. So we should also train. I mean, you remember when I told you it's quite absurd. You cannot compete with a country which has people that are moved out to be expatriates, to do high technical jobs, to bring in much more income compared to you as a country. You are taking modern day slaves, housewives, not wives, housemates, and so many more. Domestic work. The incomes can't be the same. You know. So because as Kenyans themselves, since they export high quality individuals, so that means even the immigrants that to come into that country should also have high income opportunities compared to what Kenya really brings out. So in other words, what you give out is what you receive back at the end of the day, because it creates what we call a global reputation, what people know you for. So Kenyans globally, talking about Nigerians, when it comes to competency and work delivery, they are always on point. You know, so that means if the natives of those countries also would love one day to go and work in Kenya or do any operation in Kenya, they would definitely prefer to also take in the quality to match up the standard. Because remember, when they export the quality back to Kenya, it will enable Kenya again groom more expatriates to go and serve to those different countries. At the end of the day, it comes back to Kenya. All right, now away from that, we take a look at Democratic Republic of Congo here as a conflict regarding mineral concerns as Apple faces scrutiny. We're seeing matters here to do with supply chain transparency as DRC's allegations against Apple. Remember, we had a report some time back about mining companies using young child labor, and you know they are mining cobalt, which is going to be used these minerals which are used in tech companies. And I'm not too surprised if I see such a report arising on the desk.
Mostly for Democratic Republic of Congo.
Exactly.
I really don't know actually, but of course the government had looked into, to prioritize mostly the citizens.
The citizens,
in terms of employment and having ownership.
Ownership of
the different mines.
Mines. Oh, okay. But the challenge is that they have the capability to run. The other people, I remember the last time DR Congo was in such agreements with China, the current president Biden, who was the president then, I think Mobutu Sese, whereby China was to exploit the minerals in return of improved infrastructure, in terms of improved services. But of course, you get to realize that most of the companies that were getting these contracts, for example, because it wasn't China directly getting involved, but there are companies that were given this money out of the exploited minerals. The percentage goes to these companies, but corruption, of course. That's why Congo is still the way it is today. Poverty. The only what they have is their capital city problem, which is good actually. It's better than they mastered that art. Now, Democratic Republic of Congo has raised concerns here with Apple that the company's supply chain may be adulterated by conflict minerals sourced from the country. Now, of course, a team of international lawyers representing the Congolese state forwarded a series of inquiries to the United States tech giant on April 22nd rather. Now, this development comes a few weeks after the United States court cleared Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, and others to stop using child labor in Africa's cobalt mines.
But you see, actually, when you think of it, actually, you see, by the way, at some point, I think they could be. I wouldn't say I'm not siding with them. Yeah, because now the available. No, listen, the available labor. Is the youth and the children. Remember, we saw a video of a young child forcefully being dragged not to go into the mine. Some of them are orphaned. So the only way they can source is to go and work.
But what income are they getting? That's also the question.
Well,
how much are they getting?
Yes, of course they may not be getting as much.
Vis-a-vis the profits that these companies make.
I know, but then that is the available labor. That is the available labor, I must say. Because not a person whose land will not go and earn a petty small money. That is what is available there. Majority are going to be youth and children. Much as they are pushed not to come, the child will come back again because you have to get food.
Yeah, actually, you see the challenge. I think with talking about that. This is a country that has been impoverished greatly by the different powers. And you find that, you see, when you keep people in that state of poverty, and at the end of the day, you come as their lord, and you're trying to help them, you can exploit them the way they want. Because I feel like if those people had attained some education, of course, which majority are illiterate, we understand. So whatever they can offer is all human labor. I mean, manual. No intellectual involved, because it's going to be hard for you to find local engineer. Of course, they are there, but very few. But yet, it's supposed to be the vice versa. That's supposed to be the more on this side. But the impoverishedness that has been that was kept, and due to the past leadership mistakes, Democratic Republic of Congo. That's why we see such reports are rising. Exploitation, child labor, and you know what this means? Because majority of these children die in these mines, they are buried in these mines, and no one reports about this. So what does this mean? We are losing potential. The time will come, and this labor will be done, will be no more. And what is that? That means it's a takeover entirely. And if not really watched, because I feel like this is just an agenda of the bigger picture, in terms of, because Congo is in top 3 countries when it comes to minerals globally. So definitely all these aspects are really, and we are yet to see more of these reports of tech companies being, somewhere. And when all these aspects going to the US courts, I mean, no one questions these people. Formally, it sounds like, now like the report of here, which the US the United States warned these companies against use of child labor. Now, this is what the report clearly puts it out, that a team of international lawyers representing the Congolese state forwarded a series of inquiries for the United States state giant. Now, as the development comes after the U.S. court cleared Apple, Tesla, and others of child labor charges, they were cleared of these charges. It's very clear. They were cleared of these charges. So it puts you at a point that they can do what they want and nobody will question. But this has a deep economic harm in terms of depletion of human resource. You know. Yeah, and so the Paris-based lawyers of the DRC accused Apple of purchasing minerals like tin, tungsten, and tantalum, collectively known as the 3T minerals, from that line. Well, that is it regarding Caribbean East Africa. And of course, in case you just joined us, Kenya attracts the most immigrants with a high income profile, according to the reports. And of course, coming in down to the conflict for minerals in Democratic Republic of Congo. Well, at this point, let's switch and take a look at what's making headlines beyond the borders of East Africa. Well, kickstarting off with Nigeria, which revokes the dormant mining titles. Now, investors open mining reforms in Nigeria, and of course, talking about here crackdown to license racketeering. Now, Nigeria has revoked about 924 dominant mining titles immediately and invites investors to freely apply for the affected licenses, which will be offered on a first-come, first-served basis. Now, of course, the affected titles include the 528 exploration licenses, talking about here 20 mining leases, 101 quarry licenses, and 273 small-scale mining licenses. Of course, this is according to Mines Minister Dele Alake said in a statement regarding that matter. Now, of course, the country is seeking to woo investors into the mining industry that has been long underdeveloped, offering incentives such as tax waivers and full repatriation of profits to investors. Of course, in the past, Nigeria has struggled to extract value from its vast mineral resources due to neglect and lack of investments. Now, Africa's top oil producer, which is also rich in lithium, gold, limestone, will grant mining licenses to only companies that process their minerals locally after tightening licensing rules for foreign companies last year.
Very interesting. 924 dormant mining titles.
Exactly.
The opportunity is going to be given for investors. We'll of course grab that. Well, away from that, it's going to be a scramble for Africa very soon.
Yeah.
China setting into place. US and of course eventually Russia also wants to take. I do not know now. We are going back to what we were fighting.
I think for this case, it's more the west side. I mean, the east treats more of Africa like a trade partner, because what Africa needs is not somebody that is going to think for me, somebody that is going to help me. You know, the east is more of, let me teach you how to fish, but the west is more like, I can give you the fish all the time. So when it's done, you go back and beg the fish. You know, so but when we have the capability of knowing how to fish, that is the key. And that's what the East is actually teaching us.
Okay.
We have to be trade partners, because if we are capable economically, then we can be in position to achieve. Though I cannot say that their intentions are pure, because a white man's intention towards a black man have never been really to that. You know, I'm not being racist when I'm saying this, but of course in the past that's how it's been like. But they know that if Africa is to help us achieve what we want to achieve, it has to be at a certain stage economically. And now the question is, as Africa, how are we using that advantage for our best? Either after getting the economic independence that we need, then we have to build a strong military resistance, because that's what it takes for you to be a world power.
Yeah, yeah, I do understand that and I appreciate that. But then at the end of the day, you realize we have almost like three economies now into Africa. China, the US and Russia. Very soon India will come also set in place. Those are three brick.
Yeah, it's a part of the BRICS.
Yeah.
Of course we know that we are into an era, if it's a curve growing down here, the United States is down here, China is just a rising master on the curve. If we're to study the cycles of economic countries that have had economic influence, I mean, there is a time where the empire really has to collapse, and that's where the United States is actually heading as we speak. Of course, it might take years, but it's already down there.
Yeah, and of course, as the BRICS look for more ways of how to de-dollarize this year. Well, we're just getting into the 5th month of the year. Let's get to see. And of course, Russia is a growing presence in Africa. And of course, looking at Russia's rising popularity in African nations, and of course, it's looking to establish an embassy in another African country.
That is Russia?
Yeah, Equatorial Guinea.
Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so...
and you see, when you take a look at these coups that have been happening in Africa, we're talking about economic independence, talking about the regimes that have been puppets to the French. Because I'll tell you the truth, French, I think even the British colonies, there is a certain percentage that they pay as a tax to the colonial masters. And if you take a look at the Western Africa, the French-dominated countries there, you find that the survival of France has actually largely been onto these countries. And now, if the Africans are now saying, no, we can have affairs, we can control economic affairs, I mean, despite the sanctions, of course, who really inspires these sanctions? It's not ECOWAS. You know, ECOWAS doesn't think for its own. The question is, who controls ECOWAS? So if we can think about having regional blocks, East Africa is one block, ECOWAS is one block, SADC is one block. Those are already already 4 countries on the continent. Then the rest is to form a one continent, that is Africa, and that's where we shall benefit.
Yeah, true.
As a country, Uganda, we are advantageous because at least we have a huge say. I mean, we are respected on the African continent, definitely, and all that. So I feel that's one of the ways to go about that.
Well, we're already into our second hour, but let's go for a short commercial break and we'll be back shortly, still in our conversation regarding the synergy of supply chain in our country, Uganda. To stick around.
Smart 24, driving business.
Luxury redefined at Seasan Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasan Hotel, So visit today at plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasand Hotels, luxury redefined.
Can I borrow fuel? Biggie money, can I borrow renty? Manager, give me some caloni. Okay, what about 5K?
When you need a loan, you've got MTN Momo. Wesotinge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
My friend, just enter. Everyone now has all access to Pearl Magic Prime. Kasim, give this man some biscuits.
They are over.
They're over. But you see these people here, they are on GOTV Plus, like you. But now they can watch big shows like Sanyu, or they can watch Beloved and they cry. So my friend, from now on, it's more magic to Uganda's best shows on GOTV Plus.
Kirako enyange tayisa bubi fabriki kyonna kyekiri kiggwa lwa Blue Magic is my choice. Ono Blue Magic ye wange. And the Blue Magic is my choice. Ono Blue Magic ye wange.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome into the second of Smart Men's Business. My name is Masika Sime and I'm joined with Andrew Barije. It is a good morning. Did you know students are home now and the government actually, the Ministry of Education had suggested that there should be no coaching.
No coaching, yeah. But it's been quite a huge source of income for some of the people.
I do understand, but it exhausts children.
Exhaust children. Yeah, you're very right. But this is what I think. coaching is actually, now if we're considering those that are, candidate classes, I think that would be quite okay.
Or maybe I would suggest private coaching, but not, the times now. I have a niece who after census, she's going to school for it's going to be a holiday, but they're going to study. What is that? It's exhausting for a child. I do understand. I did coaching when I was little, but days, Wednesday, after a day, but not every day. It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's actually really is, because this is time for a child to think about quite some other activities that can earn him some income, participate in the father's business, see what the father does, or get to learn a skill. I know of people that actually are teaching people how to use IT skills to make money out of that, and they train you at a very friendly. So many there. I think that would be the best coaching our children should be receiving. How to make money. They should know the mathematics of making money. Such that we've seen a challenge. I think we've mentioned this on the show, that it's the very reason why we raise children, and instead of we help them helping us, we are the ones that help them. Parents raise children today, and it's now the children are independent, but they're still surviving on the parents. Literally. Why? Because there is the perception that when a child is home, well, they should be watching movies. Let me tell you something. Movies totally create just a fantasy for a child right there, but they don't get a chance to face what the real world is. How to negotiate, how to sign business deals, how to build partnerships. This is quite all important, and this is the time they can actually get acquainted with such skills during holidays. They interact. I don't even emphasize them to read books. Sometimes when you study these books, remember in vacation when they told us to read those books. I won't mention the names anyway, but those inspirational books about making money, and you find that even some of the writers of these books have gone bankrupt. So you ask yourself the question, what is that? So I would urge a parent actually to teach the child the real world in a practical way in terms of finances, and not from the perspective of a book, because the book has a mirror in which, and some of these books, none of them majority of them are based on Western ideologies, which are applicable to those countries. And Uganda is a different case. And I think Uganda, you can only write your own book that you can sell out there out of the experience that you've gone through in terms of how to make money. Because things are different, considering inflation, how the shilling transacts against the dollar. All these has a role to play when it comes to decision making, determining trends, what is on demand. And if you take what you've read in the book as the gospel truth, you'll find yourself that you cannot reconcile what you read in the book vis-a-vis what you're experiencing at the time financially. So I think it's time to learn the mathematics of money for the children right there, such that by the time they get exposed to work, they will be having experience already, having the mindset of being independent. Being independent is not about not staying with your parents. You can start being independent when you're still living with your parents as a child. The way you think. There is a child that may say, I'm paying for electricity, home.
Okay.
I'm buying food for home. That's an independent child financially.
That is why kids in the US, when they're into their summer holidays, they go and do work.
They do work, exactly.
They do work. At the end of the day, they don't have to ask for money to go and buy a phone or buy some, maybe go out. That should be the same tradition in Uganda, actually.
It's a tradition.
Should be a tradition.
It definitely should be where a child contributes to the bills, because things have changed. You lose nothing if you say that. Okay, today I'm buying the bread for breakfast. It shows, because trust me, when that is cultivated in the child at a very tender age, I can guarantee if that child is 15 and is doing that at 20 years, he's in position to run a business that is worth about $5 million. No, not $1 million, Ugandan shillings rather. Because he has the financial muscle. That is the mind of responsibility.
Whatever happened to parents saving up for their children, I don't know. Because we had that thing when we were growing up, and
parents saving for their children.
Yeah, saving for their children, you know, for the future. Then the kid, you give the kid eats the money. But anyway,
in 1 year.
Yeah. Well, today we're going to be looking at, you know, we had told you earlier we have this thing of the 12 time wasters, and we are still on it. And we had given you 3. And of course, our number 4 time waster is worrying about what people say. Instead, focus on what is good for you. People are going to talk. Whether you're good, whether you're very good, trust me, people are going to talk. Hey, just mind your business, hydrate. Do you exercise? Mind your business. Do what you're supposed to do. As long as it's not your boss on your case, the rest, don't.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so interesting that most of the lives of people, most of the decisions people make, even when it comes to business career choices, are all just based on what people think about them. And regardless, I mean, let me tell you something. When you go to the supermarket and you purchase that flat screen, you purchase that pizza or whatever you buy, no one